Rubber burning engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafting on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Rubber burning engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take.
Woo! Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this evening. As, man, this is a late start for this race. I don't know if this session is going to work or not, chat. This is dark, unless if it's in the morning. It is 9 o'clock p.m. real time, and it's 6 a.m. Okay, so it's early morning, so the sun is just setting, so the sim time is set for 6:30 a.m. So it's an early start for these drivers as they get ready to rumble, they get ready to go to battle here this evening. As each and every one of these drivers get loaded into the sim, they are looking for the win here this evening, as it is Talladega Super Speedway here this evening. It's a little bit of dawn before the destruction here at Dega is the big one looming in the background here. Can we avoid it? Can we miss it? And can these drivers keep themselves out of trouble and keep themselves in still contention for these playoffs? As we'll get everyone rolling out on the racetrack, they are going to be following behind our pole sitter, the 48 ride, the Raptor machine. That is the beautiful looking ride for J.J. Moore. To his outside in the Budweiser number 4, it is Daryl Johnson. Starting in position number 3, it is the 36. That is the Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches number 36 ride of Gage Wenzel. To his outside in the number 18 machine, that is the Bama machine of Mr. Michael Carter, is starting in position number 5 in the 12 ride. That is the Ford Mustang machine of Gavin Grubbs. To his outside, the Uni First, number 9, it's Al Likens. Starting in position number 7 in the Amazon Prime number 94, that is Adam Belton. There in 7th. To his outside in the DeWalt number 20 machine, it's Jeremiah Nelson. Starting inside of row number 5 in the DHL number 8 machine, that is Kent Mueller. To his outside in the beautiful American Legion Be the One number 96, that is Aaron Spear, rounding out our top 10. Dalton Wicker in the Tiny Toe 77 ride will start there at 11th. To his outside, the Noble American number 7 machine, that is Chase Abel, starting in 12th. Starting in the 13th position is the 63 of Max Cost. To his outside will be the 11 ride of Chris Zofeld. Then we do see the number 34, that is the American Postal Service, the beautiful number 34 of Drew King. To his outside, the 44 Farms number 84, it's Jonathan Cogswell. Anthony Ludi back there as well, the Adidas Toyota. Then we see Tyler Chronister in the 99 ride, the Tiny Toe 17 of Corey Denk, the 45 of Dylan Picklesheimer, and James Hudson. Hudson going to be starting down pit road here, as right now it's Dylan Picklesheimer at the back of the pack in that 20th position. As here we go, quickly jumping into battle as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation, as it is Dega, baby. This is going to be fun. This is going to be interesting, as this is anybody's race. Anybody can really find their way into victory lane here this evening. It's all about being in the right place at the right time, either to avoid some of the chaos, the mayhem that may fall out there on the speedway, or just potentially getting the right push at the right time out there on the racetrack to work yourself into a winning position late in this race. Sexy Rooster Boots, what's good, Sexy Rooster Boots? Coming in, showing the love over there on Twitch, says, if you ain't first, you're last. That is correct, brother. That is right. If you ain't first, you last. As out in front, it is J.J. Moore right now. He's out in front, and he will lead lap number 1 of 80 here this evening. So, not necessarily a ton of laps here for these drivers. It takes a little while. It's usually right around that 46, 47 second area to complete a lap here at Talladega in the main pack. So these drivers can click the laps off in a pretty quick time. It is all about the yellow flags. When do they strike? How many cars get collected? And how long do those take? Because a lot of these yellow flags can chew up a lot of time in a quick hurry, and things can get very, very hectic on these restarts. Driver trying to go 2-3 wide already out there on the racetrack. That's exactly what we could see off the initial start, like we are seeing right now. But a lot of the restarts, it brings the pack right back together. Everybody's tight in there. Everybody's got the draft, and everyone is trying to either push or drive their way to the front of the field. You're trying to find your teammates. You're trying to get lined up out there on the racetrack. You're sliding backwards. You're moving forwards. You're kind of just jostling around and jumping into a bunch of different positions, hoping that you can find that extra little bit of speed, that little bit that you may need to try to work yourself one row up, maybe 2 rows up, find another hole, jump down low, see if you can keep on moving forward. As of right now, it is J.J. Moore, though, who continues to lead this feature event. Aaron Spear there in second, with Adam Belton, that's Evo, there in third. Kent Mueller and Dalton Wicker, our top 5 here on the racetrack. Outside lane, unfortunately, falling apart here early on. That's kind of just the 3 wide that we saw there for a little bit. That 3 wide racing kind of broke up that second groove, really took a lot of cars out of it. They kind of get sidetracked from the outside and the inside, and a lot of times you can see that inside lane just start to fall back, and unfortunately there for that outside lane, they fall back. They end up going nowhere, and unfortunately their lead car, the 9 ride of Al Likens, now sitting back in position number 7, and now even though they're organized again, they kind of got people lined up. They're really not tight together. They're really not outnumbering that inside groove, and just having the few less cars could be the difference maker between going backwards or moving forwards. Right now they're trying to gain more drivers. They did see Dylan Picklesheimer jump up there. He's trying to get that outside lane rolling as the 12 ride of Gavin Grubbs. Grubbs may have saw something there in front of him and decides, you know what, it's getting a little bit too risky out there on the speedway. He's going to back out of it. He'll fall to the rear of the field here. He'll look to fall in line, still stay in that draft and keep himself potentially just in this race, as that's a big game plan for a lot of these drivers. Taking it easy, keeping yourself out of trouble, and trying to put yourself into a position to where maybe you can survive some of the mayhem and the chaos out there on the racetrack. Is Mr. LaFon? What's good, Jordan? Jordan coming in says, peace! What's cracking, brother? What's good, Jordan? How are you, Mr. Laboon? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Thursday night. My boy, Mr. Caleb Ramsey in the chat as well. How are you, Caleb? Caleb and Jordan both coming in with the likes on the broadcast. How are you, fellas? Hopefully you guys are having yourselves a wonderful, wonderful Thursday night. Is Friday, baby, right there. Tomorrow, Friday, the work week coming to a close, and I can tell you what, I am ready for the weekend. My body needs a good solid break, man. It needs some days off. As Jaden News says, let's go Gage, cheering on Gage Wenzel out there on the racetrack. Gage, early on, we saw him kind of jump up, trying to run a little bit of that second groove there. Unfortunately, he did fall back a couple spots, but he is back up there. He is trying to make this move. He's trying to work this second lane to the front, in the 96 ride of Aaron Spear jumps up there as well. So now that they've gained a couple more drivers, that back there on the outside lane has kind of gained a little bit more. Now you can see them trying to work that second groove. They've almost gotten door to door with our race leader, but now you see it kind of get broken up again. Looks like that third lane is going to get organized. Now you see Gage Wenzel will push the 96 right up the racetrack to make that 3 wide. He may get split right here. He will. So they're going to be 4 wide down and into corner number 1. My gosh, that can get very scary in a quick hurry. Luckily enough, Gage Wenzel sees it, jumps down to the inside here. Is unfortunately this 3 wide racing, as much as it seems like a good way to get around the track, as much as it seems like you're going to move forward, unfortunately, it's just killing all that momentum. But now you do see Gage Wenzel, another big run, another big drive. The 63 of Max Koss goes with him here, so they're trying to get that second lane organized again. But you gotta hope that you can take this run, get some help to your back bumper, and hope to keep it moving. As now you do see Dylan Picklesheimer hooked up on this 9 ride. He is pushing Al Likens towards the front, but the big thing is going to be when you start to run a little bit of a tandem race like they are, trying to get this 9 to the front of the field, the 45 ride is gonna be running super hot, and if you run too hot, you could blow that motor up and you could be out of this race in a heartbeat. So I think for the 45 ride, he had to kind of tell the 9 ride, you gotta move down, brother, you gotta jump down there, because I am running out of water in this car, as everyone's still just trying to navigate, trying to mitigate their way up to the front of the field, as JJ Moore continues to lead the way. He's led all 7 laps so far. He's looking to lead lap number 8 here the next time by the start-finish line, as Bounton sticking right there with them. Kent Mueller and Dalton Wicker, they're staying to that inside groove. They're staying true to it. They're not really leaving it. They haven't moved around. They've stayed glued to that inside lane, and it's been working for them here for the most part. But now you see that second lane. They're starting to get a little bit more organized. They're starting to build up that speed and momentum, and now they're starting to roll back up towards the outside of our race leader, as JJ Moore right there, ready to rock and roll, ready to try to keep himself as the race leader. But they're door to door down the back straightaway, as Gage Wenzel revitalizes that outside lane, gets the back bumper of Al Likens, and now will push Al Likens to the point. Al will quickly jump down in front of the 48 ride of JJ Moore, as Al Likens takes over the race lead down through 3 and 4. But here comes Gage Wenzel, another good run. He's getting a great push from that 63 ride ride of Max Cost. We got to wait and see. Does he make the move down to the inside? There he goes. He'll jump down and in front of that 9 ride of Al Likens. Unfortunately for the outside lane, they keep building cars. They keep finding that speed. Unfortunately, they keep falling farther and farther back here, and that is not a fun spot to be out there on the speedway, as everyone's just trying to keep themselves in a good position, trying to keep themselves in a great running order out there on the racetrack, as everyone's just trying to keep themselves alive, trying to keep themselves in this battle. As now you see the 9 ride, he's kind of got the handle of it. He's kind of got the front row to himself right there. Throws a big block on the 63, kills a bit of the momentum on that outside lane, able to keep the run though and keep himself in front of Gage Wenzel. But Wenzel, another one of our playoff drivers, he is not teammates with that 9 ride. If he sees an opportunity to maybe leave him high and dry, you got to imagine that the 36 ride may pull the trigger, may try to slide Al Likens deeper in the pack, knowing that he's one of those drivers that he's battling here for the championship. So isn't that 63, the 7 ride, the 45 machine, now working the outside lane, as all the drivers with the yellow banners on top of their windshield and the yellow back spoilers. The yellow spoilers on these race cars are what tells you the difference between a playoff driver and a non-playoff driver. So the first 4 cars on the inside lane, the first car there on the outside lane, are all playoff cars. The 4 ride, the 20 machine, the 48 ride, they're all non-playoff drivers here. So for our playoff contenders out there on the racetrack, to be able to work yourself towards the front of the field is obviously the goal, but you don't win anything leading the lap here at lap 11. You don't gain anything. You don't gain any extra points. You don't really gain anything except for track position. Sometimes having to be at the front of the field is the best place to be, but a lot of times we have seen drivers getting pushes at the front, being the leader, being the car in second or third, and getting a big push, getting tied together and turned around, and that could very quickly pull a yellow flag out and could cause you to end up into the fence, into a big wreck, and in the wrong position, where sometimes playing a little bit safer. You look back here at drivers like Jonathan Cogswell, you look back here at Dalton Wicker, Anthony Ludi. They have kind of fallen back now. We did see Wicker up there, we saw Ludi up there. They were trying to race their way towards the front. They could not get to that front couple rows. They decide, you know what, it's better to be safe than sorry. They fall back out of it. They go a little bit more towards the rear of the field, and here they are just kind of sitting comfortably back here in about that 17th, 18th, and 19th position. And now if there is a big wreck, if there is chaos here in front of them, that they can get onto the binders, then they can try to keep themselves out of trouble. If they can just keep on rolling, if they can keep themselves, out of any problems, as they're 3 wide in front of them. All it takes is one bad push, one wrong move, and we can see these guys go for a wild ride. As you do see Adam Bounty now up onto that 3rd lane, trying to get that 3rd groove rolling here once again. Looks like Looney may join them and try to help them out, trying to push his teammates, the 18 and the 94 ride, up towards the front of the field. Unfortunately, that 3rd lane just lacks the numbers here. It's all about having the numbers, having the most cars right there with you. Continue to build that draft up, find that speed, and working your way towards the front is Al Likens in the 96 ride of Aaron Spear. Door to door here for the race lead, but down low, another big run. The 45 ride of Dylan Picklesheimer. Seems like Picklesheimer can really give a good push out there. We've seen it a couple times where him and Likens have kind of got nose to tail out there on the speedway. We saw it there for a little bit where they were able to gain 5, 6, 7 positions rolling the middle groove, and they were able to pass a ton of cars just as a 2-car tandem, and able to get the 9 ride to the front, and obviously the 45 ride right there as well, showing some muscle out there on the speedway. Now that's something that they've learned early on. That's something that they can try to use later in this race if it comes down to it, and they got to get hooked up for the last lap, maybe the last lap and a half. If they can kind of get hooked together like they were, maybe push that 9 ride to the front here. I'm not sure if Al can push as good as that 45 ride, but I do know that Dylan Picklesheimer has shown that he's got a lot of power under that hood. As things get a little bit more single file, things get a little bit more organized here, as you do see Zofeld now up and into 3rd. Max Koss right there in 4th, and Chase Abel rounding out our top 5. Gavin Grubbs, J.J. Moore, Jonathan Cogswell, Corey Denkin, Kent Mueller. First car on the outside lane, now back into about the 10th position. Looks like he'll slide back now into 11th as the 77 of Dalton Wicker will move inside the top 10. So unfortunately for Mueller, he is going the wrong way out there on the racetrack, and that is not a fun place to be as the inside lane just staying organized. But here we go, 94 ride. He jumps up into that middle groove, but that outside lane kind of gets broken apart, and right there with them, you see that 36 ride. Tough break for Gage Wenzel. We'll see if Gage can work his way back up towards the front. You do see Mr. Jeremiah Nelson, Michael Carter back there as well, as they had kind of fallen deep in this pack. The outside lanes, they were just kind of once again fell apart. They kind of just got built up. They ran some really good fast laps, and then all of a sudden, they just started to fall farther and farther back out there on the speedway. And now they're trying to get things organized again. They're trying to build this momentum up, trying to see if they can battle back here towards the front of the field. Is out in front. It's Al Likens who will lead lap number 16. So Al Likens out in front leads another lap here this evening as Dylan Picklesheimer sticks right there with him. Chris Sofeld doing a great job there in third, as I do believe those are 3 of the teammates in the slightly dangerous motorsports out there on the racetrack. So that team is working well together here this evening as, yes, Sofeld, Al Likens, Dylan Picklesheimer, all teammates here, as they do have teammates with Daryl Johnson and Jeremiah Nelson. Unfortunately, both of those drivers a little deeper in the pack. They'll have to wait and see if they can try to get all 5 of them lined up and working together out there on the racetrack. Now, the next biggest team out there on the speedway is the Revolution Motorsports team with Aaron Spear, Adam Boughton, Ludi, Mueller, and Michael Carter. We'll see if some of these teams start to form up a little bit better towards the end of this race. Right now, it's not necessarily a major aspect if you can just survive, be there towards the end in the closing, 5-10 laps. Maybe that's where we really start to see that teamwork come into play. Kind of leave other drivers high and dry, stay nose to tail out there together, and hope that you and the team can just work on pushing one or, a couple of you guys to the front and maybe get one of your teammates or yourself into victory lane later in this race. As there are still a lot of laps left to go. Still a lot of laps, a lot of time to make some moves to try to drive yourself up towards the front here. You can kind of just hang out towards the back. You don't really need to push the subject, especially when, you're still in the draft here. You haven't lost the draft. You haven't really lost anything, as you see all of our 20 drivers still up here, still in the fight, still in this lead pack. No one has lost the draft. No one has fallen back yet, which is great to see, because sometimes you can see some of these drivers a little deeper in the field. They make a mistake, they get a little out of the throttle, you lose that draft. You're going to be running seconds, not just a little bit slower. We're talking seconds slower every single lap, whether it's 2 seconds, 3 seconds. We've seen 4 and 5 seconds slower than that lead pack, in which in turn means, you only got, 8-10 laps before potentially you're a lap down out there on the racetrack, and that is not a fun place to be, being a lap down. But luckily enough, if you do go a lap down this early, there's still a lot of time for multiple caution flags that could potentially put you back on the lead lap, could get you back into the battle. So you just got to kind of keep your head in the game, as we do see James Hudson still not out there on the racetrack. He was our 21st driver loaded into the sim. Unfortunately, James missed the start of this race, has now rolled down pit road as of yet. Looks like he is still parked down behind pit wall. We'll see if James can try to get out there, have some fun, at least join for a few laps here late in the race, try to spice it up with an extra car out there on the racetrack, as Al Likens now just in control here. The slightly dangerous racing team just hooked up down on that inside groove, and they just continue to keep pace here, keep everyone back behind them, even with that outside lane, try to get something going here. So you see Dalton Wicker and Corey D out there rolling that outside lane. They're trying to get it to work. They're wanting to roll up here towards the front of the field, but now we start to roll into the aspect of how much fuel do these drivers have? How much fuel do they have? How long can they go before they need to come down pit road? When do we start to see green flag pit stops become an issue? And here at Talladega, it is a long pit straightaway. You really got to get checked up in a quick hurry, and you got to hope that you do not get a penalty. If you get a penalty or you make a mistake down pit road, it could cost you this race, especially with the potential of very minimal caution flags, because if you slide through your pit box, you're a couple seconds slower. Your teammates cannot wait for you. They have to keep going, and if you make that mistake and you lose that draft with them, unfortunately, you're just going to be a sitting duck out there on the speedway. So you got to hope that you can come down pit road as a big group, have the numbers, have the most cars, try to make a quick pit stop all together where you guys can come down pit road together, leave pit road together, get lined right back up, right back into the draft, and hope that you can use that draft coming back into the pits to try and put yourself into maybe a winning strategy here throughout these green flag pit stops. I do believe green flag pit stops could come very soon, so they have 75% fuel capacity in these race cars here this evening. But there's contact. Look out, Corey Dent gets a little contact right there. Not sure if we're going to see a yellow flag as of yet. Nothing, but there is damage here for the Tiny Toes number 17. Right, let's see if we can play this back. Let's throw it into reverse, Terry, and see how this one happens. Is right here, 4 wide down the back straightaway, as it looks like Corey and Dalton Wicker, they're going to kind of get left high and dry. So they're rolling the outside lane. They decide to go to the middle. The 99 right of Tyler Chronister's already there, and Chronister is now just going to use the inside lane, and he's not going to lift here. So he sees Corey Denk and the 77 ride here. Let's see if we can get another look here at Chronister's machine. So here we go. He's got a good look here. He can fall in behind the 17 ride and try to get that middle lane going. He's trying to get down to the bottom, though, and all of a sudden, he's kind of just stuck in the middle here. 4 wide down into corner number 3, and unfortunately he gets up the track, gets a piece of that left rear quarter panel, the 17 ride, and for Corey Denk, really nothing he could do. And even if he went around right here, obviously at this point, could have been a caution flag if he kept going around. But the car gets straightened out. The car gets pointed back in the right direction. And as it does, it saves us from a yellow flag. But for Corey D, he's straightened out. You see everyone kind of going by him. He finally gets up into the outside fence. And with no cars coming behind him, the lack of speed for the 17, if there was another driver coming up right about now, we would see a caution flag. But since he's behind that lead pack, there's no debris out there on the racetrack for the 17 ride. No caution flag, and now he does have to take this car down pit road. So he is going to take it down pit side here. You'll see him make the hard left-hand turn. He'll come down pit lane, and he'll get down to pit road speed. Nice, easy job into pit road right there. Obviously trying to get that car repaired, trying to get it back into working condition. Now, that cost him virtually a lap. That pit stop, that mistake, the slow drive down in through corner 3 and 4 back down pit road for the 17 ride. He is now the first and only car a lap down out there on the racetrack. So for the 17 ride, he's back into this lead pack. He's racing with all these guys. Unfortunately, though, he is the first car 1 lap down. He's going to need a caution flag or something to happen to try to get himself back into the action, back on the lead lap, and having some battles here again, as we do see, unfortunately, for Drew King and the number 20 ride here. That's Jeremiah Nelson. So Jeremiah Nelson and Drew King both lose the draft here. They're working together. They're trying to keep their cars going, but we see another driver who's also lost the draft, and that is the 36 ride of Gage Wenzel. Wenzel in the Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches ride also loses the draft out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately he's got no one there with him, no one to help him, and for this 36 ride, rolling back here in the 19th position right now, unfortunately, he may be the next car to go a lap down. As down across the line, he's running virtually 4 seconds, just a little over 4 seconds slower than our race leaders right now. Being by himself, not having that draft, not having the help out there, they are continuing to pull farther and farther and farther away from this 36 ride. And for Gage Wenzel, it's only going to be a matter of time before he potentially goes a lap down as well. He still has to make a green flag pit stop. He still has to wait and see how this is going to get played out, as everyone probably sitting on the edge of their seats, knowing that these green flag pit stops are about to come out. They're about to get started, and things could get pretty crazy in a quick hurry as we see the Revolution Motorsports team hooked up here on the outside lane. They're trying to battle back against that slightly dangerous threesome here at the front of the field. It's the 95 ride of Anthony Ludi leading the charge here for his team. Ludi right there with Adam Bounton, Aaron Spear, Michael Carter, and a couple cars back. You see the 8 ride of Kent Mueller, all a part of that Revolution Motorsports team. So they're virtually all lined up. They're working together. They have this outside lane somewhat rolling. They just don't quite have the numbers to try to get up and get door to door here with our race leader Al Likens. Likens continue to get a great shove here from that 45 ride of Dylan Picklesheimer. That's what's really leading this inside groove and keeping them at pace and in front of that 95 and 94 machine back there behind them. And now you see for the 45 ride of Picklesheimer, he's going to try to jump up there towards that middle groove. He's trying to get as much air as he can onto the nose of that 45 ride. Is pushing so hard out there on the racetrack. The water temps inside that 45 ride have got to be starting to skyrocket here. And every time he gets locked into that back bumper of the car in front of him, into Al Likens' rear end here, unfortunately, it's just taking all of the air out of the nose, out of the radiator of this 45 machine, and it's just causing him to really have some overheating problems. So we'll have to wait and see how that's going to play out. Here we go. They're going to all come down pit road. This is where things can get tricky. You got to make no mistakes. You cannot get caught speeding down pit side, as here comes the slightly dangerous racing team as Al Likens, Chris Zofel, Dylan Picklesheimer. They come down pit road. They have Daryl Johnson, their teammate, with them. We also see Chase Abel, Max Kost, and it looks like J.J. Moore all going to come down with them here as well. So a bunch of them hit pit road. They're looking that they can make this pit stop, try to jump back out there. So this is going to make things interesting. They made it about 28 laps on a tank of fuel here. Obviously, the drivers that are still out there running at least another lap longer when you look at Ludi, Adam Bounton, Aaron Spear. So if this stays clean and green, if we don't see many other caution flags throughout this race, run about 28, 29 laps, we could see these guys probably go, with a 3-stop race here. More than likely being an 80-lap feature event, they can probably make this a 3-stop race, maybe even 2-stop race. No, it's got to be 3 stops. No, maybe 2. If they come back down pit road around lap, 56? 56 or so? I don't know. That's going to be tight on fuel. Run about 29 laps here for this run. If they can run another 30 laps for the next run, like we see for Dalton Wicker and Jonathan Cogswell in the 17 ride, obviously who's already been down pit road here with them. They're running 30 laps. So if you can kind of run 30 and 30, you should be able to make it to the end. You're on 28 and 28. That should bring you right around to lap 56? Meaning that you'd have to run, another 24 laps? So you should be able to make this on 2 pit stops, which is actually kind of crazy now that I break it down. This is interesting here. Only a 2-stop race. If we stay clean and green, that really makes things very, very interesting. Here we go. Drivers that just came down pit road trying to keep themselves out in front as the slightly dangerous racing team. They're kind of hooked back together here. They are rolling here, and they're quickly catching up to Ludi here. Bounton, Tyler Chronister, the 96 rider, Aaron Spear. They're coming with a big head of steam. They've built up all that speed and momentum already. They're going to jump to the outside. They're going to get a big run here. Now they're going to side draft a little bit off these cars down to their inside, and they are going to pull door to door here with Anthony Ludi. This is virtually back for the race lead as Dalton Wicker, Jonathan Cogswell just rolling back into the racetrack. Unfortunately, they will not have the draft here with that lead pack, and that is going to be the big thing. That could be the thing that really busts this race wide open, especially if we don't see any caution flags. So if we don't see any caution flags, unfortunately for a lot of these drivers, a lot of these teams, they don't have a whole lot of cars here with them. When you look at Wicker and this number 84 rider Cogswell, they just got to get lined up here. They kind of got to back their tone down. They got to reel in this 12 car of Gavin Grubbs. You see now Ken Mueller there, the 63 at max cost. Chase Abel in his Noble American number 7 ride right here. If they can all work together, stay single file, keep on rolling, maybe they can find enough speed, maybe they can find that extra little bit of a gear that they can try to catch up to this lead pack, especially with the lead pack running door to door. That means that they're going to be running a lot slower lap times. Running slower lap times, not being as fast as some of these single file cars back there behind them, could open up the door for them to get back into this battle before the next wave of green flag pit stops. As of right now, you look back at Michael Carter. He's got no drafting help out there. He's in a very, very bad spot. Corey D in the same problem here. Now he does have the 20 ride of Jeremiah Nelson and the number 34 of Drew King being a 3-car pack. Unfortunately, they don't really have too much going for them right there. And then obviously Gage Wenzel. Still no drafting partners out there on the speedway for him. The 36 ride very, very close to going a lap down again. Now for Corey Dent, Corey really desperately needs that caution flag. We saw Corey have those issues, get contact, get up into the outside fence, and obviously going a lap down, making that earlier pit stop. Now he's back on the lead lap, still not in the draft. He's still probably about, I'm going to say, 16 seconds now behind our race leaders. But if he could catch a caution flag, he could stay on the lead lap, he could keep himself in the battle. That would be the best place for him for that 36 ride. Excuse me there, as the 36 ride of Gage Wenzel by himself is in dire need of a yellow flag. He does not want to go a lap down, as he is on the same pit cycle as everybody else. Being on that same pit cycle, it doesn't really give him an advantage. He's going to be coming down pit road roughly the same time as everybody else, where he really won't be able to get that lucky break like we see for Corey Denk right now, who's on the lead lap, who still has a few cars here with him, and not really sitting in necessarily a very bad spot, as we do see Michael Carter coming back down pit road here. Michael Carter heads back down pit side. This is an interesting call here, and it looks like Carter going to take his car down pit side here and off the racetrack. So the Bama ride now unfortunately parked down in his pit stall. I didn't see any major damage to this race car, and it looks like he's going to take it back behind pit wall. So it looks like Michael Carter may be the first car out of this race, and that is a very, very tough break, not only for Carter, but for the entire Revolution Motorsports team. As the Revolution team, they just lost one of their teammates. They no longer have the 18 ride to help them out, to help them try to get organized and try to help push one of them to victory lane here this evening. So that's a tough loss, not only for the Michael Carter fans in the stands, but for the entire team here this evening. That is going to be a tough break, not having that extra driver to help them trying to strive for victory here this evening, as that lead pack has gotten a lot more single file now. As Al Likens still out in front. I think a lot of these drivers, they realize that they have a huge advantage between themselves and the rest of the pack. If things stay single file, if things stay clean and green for the next, 20, 30 laps or so, then they could probably leapfrog and lap a lot of these drivers. They could put a lot of them back behind them and potentially put themselves into a very, very good position late in this race. As FP says, let's go slightly dangerous, he says. Yes, sir, let's go slightly dangerous, as they're working here at the front of the field. Al Likens, Dylan Pickelsheimer, Daryl Johnson, 1, 2, and 3 again here on the Speedway. As J.J. Moore back there in 4th, Anthony Ludi in 5th, Adam Boughton, Tyler Chronister, Aaron Spear rounding out our top 8. Back there in 9th is the 11 of Chris Zofeld, and then about a 2.8 second gap all the way back here to this number 77 of Dalton Wicker. Now this pack still lined up, a 6-car tandem. They may be able to have enough speed. They may be able to have some big enough runs that they can maybe catch up to our race leaders. They've been running virtually roughly around the same times, a little bit slower, not much, but if they can try to run some better laps, if they can stay a little bit more organized, tight together, potentially they can chip away at that. But as of right now, they are falling farther and farther and farther behind our 9th place driver, Chris Zofeld. But if they start running door to door, but look out, here we go, caution flag, our first yellow of the day as the 99 of Tyler Chronister, the number 96 ride. That is a tough break here. Again, another Revolution Motorsports ride tore up here as you see the 96 with heavy right front damage here, trying to just limp that car back down pit road. Let's take a look and see what happens here. As Aaron Spear, Tyler Chronister, there are two cars that are going to get tore up here in this one. As you see the 36 right here, this is Gage Wenzel. Wenzel is going to lap down, and I think that's what really throws a loop into a lot of these drivers' game plans. So here they come down into the tri-oval. 36 ride, no draft, no anything, running much slower, and that just breaks this entire lead pack apart here. They all start working to the outside of that number 36, and then things are just disorganized trying to get going here again. And unfortunately, it looks like Gage Wenzel just gonna come up the track right there and make contact with the 99 ride. See if we get another look at this one. Obviously struggling. Car has not been working well here tonight for Gage. Not having any of that drafting help. The side traction here, just a little bit of the side draft, and obviously some of the dirty air being dumped onto his car. It just looks like he moves up the track right there, and unfortunately up into the 99 right now. I see what he's trying to do is he's trying to get a little bit of the side draft here off the 99 ride. I'm not sure if he thought maybe he was already clear, the 99 was past him, so just trying to see if he can get in line here, maybe try to get into the draft and stay in the lucky dog position. Unfortunately, though, for that 36, Gage Wenzel, yeah, you see the 99 ride still above that crack in the road, and 36 just comes up, gets a piece of that left rear quarter panel. That spins him sideways on the racetrack. Unfortunately here for Aaron Spear, he's trying to get around it, and he's going to get clipped right here as the 99 comes back up the racetrack, and it shoves Aaron Spear hard contact up and into that outside fence. That's where we see that heavy right front damage there for him. Obviously big damage as well for Tyler Chronister. Chronister's just got that thing locked down, trying to keep it stopped there and not rolling into oncoming traffic. Luckily enough, you see Chase Abel, all this second group, able to avoid him. Yellow flag is out. He's able to get it back into first gear, get it rolling again, and able to keep on battling here in this one. But now we see a lot of drivers, pretty much everybody coming down pit road. They're going to take advantage of this caution flag to make a pit stop here. See a lot of drivers, some of them putting tires on, some of them getting fuel only. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how this is going to play out. It looks like a lot of drivers going to put fuel and tires on. Aaron Spear down pit side. He's got a lot of damage that he needs repaired, so we'll see if he uses that quick repair. There it is. Quick repair being used for Aaron Spear. That car is fixed up. It's back into good condition. He'll be able to rejoin the fight here. So great break there for him. And now I do believe for Gage Wenzel, does have a little bit of front end damage. Now he did not come down pit side. We'll have to wait and see if he can take the wave around or see if he can get the lucky dog here. I'm not sure if he'll be eligible because he was part of that caution flag. We'll have to wait and see how iRacing scores that and see if they give him the lucky dog, put him back on a lead lap, or if he's just going to try to risk it for the brisket here. He was already a lap down. If he can stay out here, hope to run another 5-6 laps and see a caution flag come back out where he would in turn, then get the lucky dog, or if he gets the wave around, then he can make that pit stop and kind of be on the same page as everybody else. Trying to get himself back into the action here. We'll have to wait and see how Gage is going to play this out. It's definitely not a fun spot to be back in the 19th position and not being in the battle here for a race win, especially for one of our, points competitors here, one of our playoff drivers out there on the racetrack. As we'll get everyone stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here in just a couple more moments. As we'll get a quick word in here from our sponsors over at Juicy Spider. Shout out there to Juicy Spider here, coming on with a series here this year. Alrighty, as we get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, virtually halfway into this feature event. So next time by the start-finish line, when we go back to Green Flag Racing, we will complete lap number 40, meaning that we got 40 more laps left to go, binding some NASCAR overtime here this evening that may extend this 80-lap feature event. So being halfway in, drivers are now starting to feel a little bit more of that pressure. They know that their time to shine is now. They got to start getting a bit of a game plan. They got to start working with their teammates. They got to figure out how to best put themselves into a position to try and get the win here today, as they know that if they want an opportunity to win this race, you can't do it from the back row. You got to be towards the front. You got to be there to make a move, to make a shot, and trying to put yourself into the winner's circle. As everyone stacked up door to door, and it looks like the 48 right of J.J. Moore. This is an interesting call. So J.J. Moore is the race leader here. He has the race lead, and he has the lane selection. He chooses the outside lane, wants to work with Chase Abel here, and Jonathan Cogswell there on the outside lane. We've seen the outside lane fall apart a few times, go backwards, but it also lines up three of these slightly dangerous teammates again out there on the racetrack. And obviously it's the 45 right of Dylan Picklesheimer lined up with that 9 right of Al Lincoln, so look for them to be hooked up again here on this restart. Is down in through corner number, well, I guess it's the tri-oval, and towards the start-finish line. As here we go, back down through the Geico restart zone. We are back to Green Flag Racing. Great launch right there for both J.J. Moore and Chase Abel. And now it really starts to make sense. They were able to get a big launch, able to work together there on that restart to get a big enough jump where both drivers jumped out in front of that 9 right of Al Likens, the 45 of Dylan Picklesheimer. But now, down the back straightaway, they're looking to the outside. They're looking to lead the 48 and the 7 right high and dry. They don't have a whole lot of help coming to their rear bumper, but a big block out of the 48 kills all the momentum for the 9 right, and that almost stacked them up. That was almost the big one. Down through corner number 3. Big move for J.J. Moore, and that almost took out a few of our slightly dangerous race cars out there on the speedways. Now here we go. Al Likens going to make a move down to the inside. There goes the 45 of Mr. Picklesheimer. So they're going to be able to work themselves back to the point for J.J. Moore. He'll fall back into position number 3, and now he's got the 4 right, a slightly dangerous teammate there to his back bumper, and it looks like the 4 car. I'm not sure if Johnson wants to kind of jump out of the way. He's looking at it. He's thinking about it. We'll have to wait and see if he can make that move, as you do see some of that Revolution Motorsports teammates lined up right there behind that 4 machine. Do we see potentially here, you know, with a driver like Adam Boughton, Anthony Ludi, they're kind of lined up here. They got Kent Mueller right there, the 96 ride of Aaron Spear. So they got their 4 teammates lined up here. Do they try to make some moves? Do they try to get this outside lane rolling here? Maybe leave a couple drivers high and dry. As you do see the 48 ride of J.J. Moore jump down to the inside groove. And now you do see the 36 of Gage Wenzel. So Wenzel was able to get the wave around there. He's back onto the lead lap, and I do believe he did not come down pit road. So for the 36 ride, he still has quite a bit of damage on the front end of this 36 ride from that caution flag. But taking the wave around, he's back into the action, back on the lead lap. But he needs a caution flag here quickly in this race, because he has about, I'm going to say this, about, what, 12 laps shy of fuel compared to everybody else. 11, 12 laps less fuel than the rest of the field, meaning that he's going to have to come down pit road before all of these other drivers, and he's the only one on that game plan. He's the only one that is that short on fuel, and unfortunately that's part of the risk you take here with making that wave around call. And he needs to come down pit road probably, I'm going to say, in the next 15 laps, but here might be the caution flag. They're bouncing off each other somehow or another. We keep it clean and green. What in the world is going on? Let's play this back. What is going on here in front of these guys? There's a bunch of contact, a bunch of drivers just bouncing around here, and I do believe Chris Zofeld going to be the first one. So the tied ride up in the middle groove. He's going to get a little bit loose right here. He's got Jeremiah Nelson on his back bumper trying to push him to the front here. And it just looks like he travels up the track here a little bit right here. He washes up the track. The 20 ride still on his back bumper as the 11 starts to come back down the track. It just virtually hooks this 11 ride down into Jonathan Cogswell. Now Cogswell nowhere to go. And look at the heads up driving by everybody else. You see Corey Dank. He gets in there, gets some pretty good damage onto that 17 ride. He washes up the track, but everyone else just trying to get through here. Everyone trying to keep themselves out of it. See the 99 right up into the outside fence there. 4-5 wide here coming down through corner number 2, and somehow or another they're able to make it through this. They're able to keep on rolling, keep their cars pointing in the right direction here, and they continue to keep on racing. Chris Sofield, unfortunately, gets the worst end of the deal. Some pretty solid right front damage here for the 11 right, stopped on the racetrack. Looks like that car may be toast here. I'm not sure if it's going to move, and I do believe he is going to tow that car back down pit road, and unfortunately, that's where he sits out there on the speedway, now going at least a couple laps down here on the racetrack. So that is a tough spot there for the 11 ride. Could potentially take him out of this race, but now we really see things get broken up, and now this is a smaller pack here. So they're going to be running, for the most part, should be slower lap times than the field back behind them that should be hunting them down. So Al Likens, Dylan Picklesheimer, Chase Abel, and Jeremiah Nelson run 1, 2, 3, and 4 out there on the racetrack. They have about a 2.8-second gap all the way back here to Adam Belton. Belton rolling there in 5th. He is still a ways away from the rear of the field, and now Belton's going to jump up to the outside lane. Looks like maybe some front end damage here for that 94 ride. So he bails out of it, goes to the high side here, going to allow that inside lane to get down and around him. They're trying to get lined up. They're trying to go single file. They know that they need to catch up to that lead pack if they're going to have a shot at potentially trying to win this race, as the gap continues to grow here between Jeremiah Nelson and the 95 ride. So they're actually losing time. Last time around, they were almost 0.6 of a second slower than this 4-car tandem here at the front of the field. So for Anthony Ludi, J.J. Moore, Kent Mueller, all these guys that are back here in this second pack, they know they need to get onto the loud pedal. They know they need to work together to try and catch that 4-car tandem here at the front of the field. Looks like they're hanging out roughly around the same speed. This lap is nice and easy. Down through the trioval, you see the 48 right at J.J. Moore goes to the outside lane. So Moore, he bails out of it. He goes to the high side. That's going to make him a little bit slower until he can try to get in line and try to keep that lane rolling here, seeing if they can build that speed. But as of right now, just losing that one car, they're not really gaining any time on that 4-car tandem out there on the racetrack. And for Al Likens, Dylan Picklesheimer, Chase Abel even, and that 20 ride of Jeremiah Nelson, they're loving it, especially the front three playoff drivers being at the front of the field. They are feeling very, very good, but now you're starting to see the 9 ride of Al Likens moving up right there. I believe that is another scenario where they're just trying to dump air onto the nose of that 45 ride of Dylan Picklesheimer. I feel like that 45 ride has been running hot for a lot of this race, as on the straightaways and even a few times through these corners, he is absolutely glued to the back bumper of that 9 machine. And as he's so tight to the back bumper of Al Likens, it's just cutting off all airflow to the inside of that car. And unfortunately, it is running hot, and he's got to try to keep on getting some air into this ride before potentially it goes kaboom out there on the speedway. But they're trying to use this big lead, this big advantage to their, to an advantage out there on the racetrack. But really, the big question is going to be is how long can they keep that going? How long can they keep that gap alive and keep these other drivers back there behind them? Even though they're a bigger pack, they're still not really catching that 4-car tandem. They're doing a fantastic job here at the front of the field, just managing about a 3.2 second gap. It's been 3.2 seconds probably the last 3 or 4 laps here. And unfortunately, this second group has not been able to cut down that gap, has not been able to reel in those drivers. And it continues to show here as they continue to put on an absolutely amazing race for us. They continue to work perfectly here together at the front of the field, as everyone still trying to work their way towards the front. We did see, unfortunately, for Corey Denk. Corey did have to come back down pit road, get more work done to that 17 ride for Chris Sofeld. He is still down pit road, still off the racetrack and potentially out of this race. Is now he's about 6-7 laps down, somewhere around there. Drew King, unfortunately for Drew here, he has lost that lead draft, has a little bit of damage, not much there for that 34 ride, but with no drafting help, he continues to fall farther back. And I do believe for a couple of these other drivers with damage, they're just trying to hang on. They're just trying to keep themselves in the battle, hoping for another caution flag. And for a driver that's really looking for a yellow, it's Gage Wenzel. Wenzel is starting to run into that area where fuel may become a big subject here for him. He was last down pit road on lap number 27. Now with that caution flag, he may have been able to save a lap or so of fuel, so he may be able to run another lap longer. And it seemed like throughout that first run, the max that these drivers could really run was about 30 laps. So somewhere around lap, I'm going to say 54 to lap 58, we're going to have to see this 36 Ryan probably come back down pit road and make a green flag pit stop all by himself. And once he does that, that means he's going to have no drafting help with the damage that's already on the nose of this 36 Ryan. If he doesn't get that repaired, unfortunately, he could just be another sitting duck out there again, which brought out that first caution flag, was him getting lapped and making contact with a couple of drivers that caused that first caution flag. And obviously he is still in a tough position for one of our drivers that came into this race in the championship hunt. He is just trying to survive here this evening, trying to keep himself in a area where maybe he can gain enough points, maybe he can, you know, salvage something out of this race to try to make up for the craziness out there on the speedway. As unfortunately for Gage, he's quite a ways back there right now, obviously just trying to hang on, hope that he can see that yellow flag. As of right now, I do believe, looking at the points, it's Dalton Wicker who came into this race with a 2-point lead between himself and Al Likens. So Wicker with a 2-point gap between himself and Likens. Gage Wenzel right there, he's about, I do believe this is, let me double check here. Yeah, he's about 7 spots back of the points lead here. So for Wenzel, having this bit of a rough go here this evening, obviously could set him back. Adam Belton only 2 points behind Gage Wenzel for the points lead. Cogswell's right there. Ludy's not too far back, but there is a bit of a gap between our top 5 to our 6th place driver. It's about an 11-point gap between Jonathan Cogswell and Anthony Ludy. And Kent Mueller, and then a bigger gap back to Dylan Picklesheimer. Obviously, Max Koss back there as well. Chase Abel, Jack Simpson, who's not here tonight. Corey Denk missed one as well. Unfortunately for those drivers, I think their playoff dreams are starting to fade here. When you look at Corey, when you look at Jack Simpson, Chase Abel even, it's going to be a tough time here. Max Koss, even for Dylan Picklesheimer, sitting back right now about 40 points behind our points leader. But a big run here tonight, a big win, and maybe some issues for, you know, Wicker, Gage Wenzel, like we've seen. Adam Belton, Cogswell, they can run into problems. It opens up the door there for Dylan Picklesheimer to really gain a bunch of points here on them and make that points gap a little bit tighter, a little bit more interesting here heading into our final, I do believe, 3 races of the season. As this season is clicking right on by, we only got 3 races left, so we head to Texas Motor Speedway next Thursday. And then we got Phoenix and Auto Club to finish off the series here as the 2025 HRL season coming to a quick close. And we can't thank all of our amazing sponsors enough. Obviously, Noble American coming in, being our sponsor here throughout these playoffs. A huge shout out there to Noble American Apparel Company coming on board, being our sponsor here for these playoffs. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys check them out. They are our our sponsors here for these entire playoffs. And right now we are racing in the NobleAmerican.com 213 here, 213 miles, 80 laps of racing action. And so far, it's been a lot of fun. It's been some craziness. It's been a lot of back and forth. And now we see this string race that's happening here between 2 packs of cars out there on the racetrack. The 1 pack being a 4-car tandem here at the front of the field, being led by Al Likens. Dylan Picklesheimer right there with them. Chase Abel, Jeremiah Nelson there in 4th. They still have a bigger gap than what they did. They've been building that lead more and more and more. I don't know how that is even possible. I don't know how they are doing it, but this 4-car tandem just running so well together, so tight up there on the racetrack. They're just a bullet out there on the racetrack, and they went from a 3-second gap between themselves and our 5th place driver to now 4 seconds. So it's a 4-second gap between the front 4 all the way back here to that 95 ride of Anthony Ludi. And now here we go. We see that 36 ride of Gage Wenzel. Wenzel, unfortunately, has to make this green flag pit stop. So for Gage Wenzel, he heads down pit road. Fuel was definitely running low here on this 36 ride. Could not push it any farther. Has to come down pit side here. And this is going to be a lonely pit stop all by himself. This will more than likely probably put him close to a lap down. I'm not sure if he's going to get that damage repaired, if they're going to be able to use that quick repair and get this car fixed up and roll him back out there onto the racetrack with the damage that's on it. You wouldn't want to risk that, but there we go. You do see the quick repair being used. Actually, no, is it? Or did the crew just do a little bit of work right there, work some magic, and get that nose a little bit better? It's tough to tell right there, so I think he may have saved that quick repair. The crew just doing some quick work there to the nose. Obviously, the splitter still looks a little bent up, a little bit crooked, and unfortunately, that will still hurt his runs. But as of right now, he is about to be the next car to go a lap down here. Him and the 34 rider, Drew King. King is now a lap down as the 4-car tandem out in front, able to get around him now for that number 36 ride of Gage Wenzel. He's going to be the next car to go a lap down here as they're going to reel into him in a quick curry, and then he's going to have to try to keep himself in this lucky dog position. If there is a caution flag, he wants to be in that lucky dog spot to be able to get back on the lead lap. Luckily enough, he may be able to take the wave around. That may be his saving grace here, as he probably shouldn't have to make another pit stop in this race unless if we go to NASCAR overtime here this evening. So if you only lose one lap, it's not necessarily over. But if we don't see a caution flag at all, it's going to be a tough day here for that 36 ride. It's Drew King right there as well. They're all trying to get lined up. They're trying to use that draft, and everyone's trying to make this lead pack maybe even stronger out there on the speedways. They just stay glued together, and now the gap is 5 seconds. How are they pulling away? A 4-car tandem, and I think a lot of it is the 4 ride right now has jumped to the line a couple times, and it's kind of broken up this second pack. Even though they've got the numbers, they've got the cars, they are not finding any speed. You see Ludi, Kent Mueller, Dalton Wicker, the 96 rider Aaron Spear, Max Koss right there, as well as the 94 Adam Boughton. Daryl Johnson, he's on the outside rolling there. Here comes the 84 rider Cogswell, J.J. Moore, the 12 of Gavin Grubbs, as we do see Daryl Johnson fall to the back of that line, and we see Dalton Wicker and Corey Denk making unscheduled pit stops here. Maybe these were scheduled, but man, this is a bit early. They're going to take the early pit stop. I'm not sure if I like this call or not, as they are kind of going down pit road by themselves here. As a 2-car tandem, they're not going to have much drafting help with them out there on the racetrack, and coming down this early, they may end up losing, a net of, 2, 3, 4 seconds compared to a lot of these other drivers, as they don't necessarily have to come back down pit road for the next, 5, 6, 7 laps out there on the racetrack. As of right now, it's still Al Likens, Dylan Picklesheimer, Chase Abel, the 20 ride of Jeremiah Nelson as our top 4. The 36 ride, the first car 1 lap down, is Gage Wenzel, the 34. Then it's Drew King. He's the second car a lap down out there on the speedway. Now for Drew King, he still has to make another pit stop. For Gage Wenzel, he should be good on fuel to get to the end of this race. Should not have to make another pit stop here this evening, but the rest of these drivers, it's going to come down to this potential final green flag pit stop. Maybe that's just the big idea here for Corey Denk, for the 77 rider Dalton Wicker. Maybe come down a little bit earlier. Maybe catch a caution flag. Maybe not have an issue coming down with a big group. If you come down with a 10-car pack, potentially you have more of a chance to get ran over, get damaged, put yourself into a position where maybe you make a pit road speeding penalty and just trying to avoid any of those major major issues, they came down a little bit sooner than everyone else. But they are good on fuel. They don't have to come back down pit road. So that was the good break there for these two. But unfortunately, Corey Denk is a lap down out there on the racetrack. Not a fun spot to be for Corey right now. And obviously getting tied up in a couple issues, having some problems out there on the racetrack. He's actually a few laps down now out there on the speedway. We did see Chris Zofeld rejoin this race, so Zofeld rolling back there in about the 19th position. Now, unfortunately for Chris Zofeld, he is about 15 laps or so down, so that is obviously going to take him out of this race. There's no way he's going to get those laps back and get back into the race. We're not going to have 15, 16, 20 cautions here at the end of this race, knock on wood, to be able to get him the waiver rounds, to get him back into the racing action here this evening. So a heartbreaker there for that Tide Ponds number 11 machine of Chris Zofeld. But for Al Likens, his teammate, looking good here at the front of the field. Him and Dylan Picklesheimer have just been working absolutely perfect together here this evening. They have been just hooked together. They've been working well. They've been rolling here nose to tail as Nick Lindsay. What's good, Nick? Nick says that boy's holding the lead. Yes, he is. He is holding the lead right now. He's looking good, too. He's looking good doing it. And I think a lot of it comes down to that car right behind him. The Monster Energy 45 ride of Dylan Picklesheimer. Dylan has been right there pushing the back bumper of that UniFirst number 9 ride, knowing that Al Likens has a good opportunity here this evening to potentially take over the points lead here for that championship and could potentially have a pretty sizable gap heading into our final 3 races of this season. So definitely trying to help his teammate maybe accomplish a championship here on the year. This could be something we look back to in a couple weeks time and realize that this may have been the turn of the tides. This may have been the opening that the 9 ride of Al Likens needed to try to win the 2025 Hypershift Racing League Championship. With only 17 laps left to go, drivers getting bound and ready here for some green flag pit stops once again, as green flag pit stops are on the horizon for each and every one of these competitors. They're just coming around the corner as they're going to get ready to start heading down pit road. And now you do see that 77 ride of Dalton Wicker, the 17 of Corey Denk. They're both going to go a lap or another lap down here, as Dalton will become now the first car 1 lap down until the 36 ride of Gage Wenzel can get around him. Drew King also going to try to get around that 77 ride to keep himself still in the mix here for the lucky dog position. Corey Denk unfortunately going to fall another lap down out there on the speedway. Right now, this lead pack starting to add more cars. They continue to find more and more speed. They're running about 49.5 second lap times out there on the racetrack, where our second group, they continue to lose more and more speed here. They are now 10 seconds back of that 4-car pack. The 4 cars at the front of the field now have a 10-second advantage, and the second pack keeps losing cars. They keep coming down pit road, and they're coming down pit side one at a time. I don't know what this strategy is. I don't know what this game plan is. Making a single car pit stop here. Honestly, for Max Cost, he needed the fuel, needed to make this pit stop, because I don't understand why he'd want to make this all by himself. Comes down pit road, he's going to get down here, he's going to get the fuel, he's going to be able to make it to the end of this race, but now he's going to have no drafting partners as he comes back out onto the racetrack, and more than likely, he is going to go a lap down here, and this is not a good spot to be if you're that 36 ride. An untimely caution flag, not being in position for the lucky dog, could really set you back here in this race. We already saw, a couple of drivers making these calls, and I'm not sure how this is going to work out for them, as the 9 ride of Al Likens, they sort of roll back down into corner number 1 for Max Cost. He's not even up to speed yet, rolling down through corner number 2, about to exit corner number 2 and onto the back straightaway, as our race leaders right behind him are going to catch him in a quick hurry, and this should probably put him a lap down out there on the speedway. So that's a bold move, a very interesting move, pitting there by themselves. But now we do see Jonathan Cogswell. Looks like Cogswell going to come down pit road here by his lonesome. We did see Tyler Chronister also make a pit stop there by himself in the single car pit stops. here at Talladega Super Speedway, they just do not pay dividends. They do not work out well, and you just continue to lose spots. As now, here we go. Our race leader is going to head down pit side. Here we go. Here comes that 45 of Dylan Picklesheimer, Al Likens, Chase Abel, Jeremiah Johnson, all coming down pit road. As Sean O'Keefe says, what the hell, 36? What the hell, he says? Yeah, unfortunately for Gage Wenzel, during that first run, had lost the draft, had fallen a lap down, got tied up in the first and only caution flag of the race, and for the 36 run was able to get the lucky dog back onto the lead lap, but unfortunately had to make an untimely caution pit stop here during the green flag. And now we see these drivers, the other group, also coming down pit road, and one of our playoff drivers gets a penalty. And this is what we talked about. Penalties here at Talladega, they are game over. And unfortunately for Anthony Ludi, gets a black flag. Too fast entering pit road, and for the 95 ride, one of our playoff drivers, Anthony Ludi. This is another big mistake on his playoff drive here this year. I do believe last Thursday, he ran into the same situation, was having a good run, having a great race, looking like he was going to earn some pretty sizable points out there, and then got hit with the pit road speeding penalty. Did not recoup, did not get back into the battle, ended up with a sub-top 15 run, and unfortunately did not really earn any points, fell farther behind our points leaders, and again here tonight, maybe more of that same story. As of right now, he rolls back out onto the racetrack in the 16th position as our race leaders, they're rolling down through quarter 1 and 2. They're hooked up again as a 4-car tandem. They have a 11-second gap back to our 5th place driver, the 48 ride here, Mr. J.J. Moore, but he's not going to be there for much longer. Now we see some contact. Look out, caution flag back out on the racetrack. That's exactly what Ludi needed. Ludi needed it. The 36 rider, Gage Wenzel, he desperately needed it, and we get the yellow flag back out into the air. So the caution flag will fly, as I do believe that was the 63 of Max Koss. We did see Chris Sofeld tied up in this one again, as well as everyone, again, trying to work themselves around some of the other slower traffic out there on the racetrack, kind of getting relined together, and they just end up 4 wide here again. I'm not sure what the call was, but for the 94 ride, sees the car to his outside. They're 3 wide here. He sees the 48 down low, running much slower. The 12 ride moves up. The 94 tries to go 4 wide, and they just kind of don't work here. The 11, the 94, they're running 3 cars deep in a 2-lane section, and unfortunately, they run out of room. They make contact. 94 right ends up with some good damage. The 84 of Cogswell ends up with good damage. You see the 63 of Max Koss. Unfortunately, that's going to cost him dearly there. Some pretty good damage there for that car. And obviously Chris Sofeld, who's already about 14, 15 laps down out there on the racetrack. This is just going to create more chaos and contact for him as well, as you see just gets clipped, gets up into the 63 ride, then back down the track here, just trying to keep this car pointing the right direction. Unfortunately, bounces off the 84 ride a couple times, and with Koss pointed the wrong direction, that will bring the caution flag back out. So our second caution flag of the day, just after green flag pit stops. And now things are going to get a little bit interesting. The pack is going to be packed together again. And for these top 4 drivers, when you look at Al Likens, Dylan Picklesheimer, Jeremiah Nelson, and Chase Abel, they had an 11-second lead between themselves in the rest of the field. Everyone from 5th on back were over double-digit seconds behind this 4-car tandem. They were working so well together. They had built such a big lead, and even through those green flag pit stops, they were looking just so perfect out there on the racetrack. If it stayed clean and green, it would have been between the 4 of them, but now it brings everyone right back to their rear bumper, and this is going to get very, very exciting as we get ready to go back to green flag race, and we get ready to duke it out again. It's down across the line. They will click off lap number 70 here this evening, and it's going to be probably about 11 lap shootout, 8 lap shootout here, something like that, 9, 10, 8 laps. Let's see if the lights turn off the official iRacing pace car. They're not off right now, so I do believe we're going to get a couple more laps around before we go back to green flag racing, meaning that we are probably going to go back to green flag here as an 8-lap shootout here to figure this one out. Now, I don't know if we're going to make it all 8 laps without another caution flag. We'll have to wait and see how this gets played out and who's going to be able to put themselves into that position, as we do see Gavin Grubbs, Anthony Ludi, Gage Wenzel, Drew King, Johnson, all these drivers coming down pit road, making this additional pit stop here this evening, making sure they're good on fuel, they get some tires, they get some damage repaired, and get ready to roll back if they're under the racetrack, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here in just a couple more moments. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't go anywhere, because you do not want to miss any of the action. It's Mr. Lindsay says, let's go Picklesheimer. Cheering on Picklesheimer here this evening, as yes, Picklesheimer going to be I think he's going to be pushing hard here, man. I don't know if he'll make the move, if he'll try to get around his teammate Al Likens, or if he may just be kind of stuck on this strategy, trying to push his teammate into maybe a big win to help him potentially put himself into the championship lead here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out here this evening, as we'll be right back in just a couple more moments.
Rubber burning engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafting on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take.
Alrighty, here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing here at Talladega Super Speedway as the Hypershift Racing League. Ready to rock and roll, ready to see how the AmericanNoble.com 213 will get completed here this evening, as we are quickly back to green flag racing. Al Likens with a great restart will quickly jump down to the inside lane, try to get hooked up once again with his teammate, the 45 ride of Dylan Picklesheimer. Picklesheimer will get right back to his rear bumper, quickly pushing that number 9 ride, trying to build up that speed, that momentum, and trying to keep Al out in front and trying to push him to the race win here this evening, as the outside lane being led by the 9 ride or the 7 ride of Mr. Chase Abel. Looks like Abel gonna lose the 84 machine, unfortunately, there for the 84. Moves up to that 3rd groove, not a whole lot of help there. Finally gets a little helping hand as the 17 of Corey Dent gets tied up with him, but unfortunately The 84 just continues to fall farther and farther back, and it leaves Corey moving down to the inside. So now the outside lane losing a couple more cars. Here comes the 99 of Tyler Chronister trying to get the outside lane. The third lane rolling here, unfortunately, again, just no help up there. No one to go with them, no one to make that move, and unfortunately, just has to fall back in line here and see if he can try to build that speed and momentum up once again as the outside lane just starts to dissipate here. More and more and more. They continue to fall farther and farther back, and unfortunately for Chase Abel, he's seeing a lot of points fall away from him here. Every single position that he loses, the car behind him, that 77 ride of Dalton Wicker. Wicker came into this race as our points leader. He was the points leader coming into this feature event, and unfortunately, kind of just stuck back here, trying to get that second lane roll, and unfortunately, just not getting any drive. We'll have to wait and see if someone jumps up and decides to go with him. Here comes that 34 ride, so it looks like Drew King hoping to get the outside lane rolling. Here comes the 4 ride now looking to the outside. So the 4 machine of Daryl Johnson, he jumps out there. He would love to get pushed to the front of the field here as well, because he knows it's his teammates that are up here at the front of the pack as the slightly dangerous racing team all trying to put themselves into a winning situation here this evening. So they're all pushing, they're all working together right now as Jeremiah Nelson, another teammate there for the slightly dangerous racing team, hooked up 1, 2, and 3 out there on the speedway on that inside groove, and they are feeling okay about how they're sitting right now with the laps continue to click down, this time down and out of the tri-oval. They'll head back down to the start finish line. They'll get the big high five here from our flagman. 5 more laps left to go here this evening from Talladega Super Speedway with the AmericanNoble.com. 2:13 here this evening as the Juicy Spider Hypershift Racing League playoffs are about to hit midway here, and this is going to really mix up potentially the running order of our points here for this championship, with Dalton Wicker running quite a ways back there. The outside lane getting no momentum, no anything really getting underway here for Chase Abel, for Dalton Wicker. They're just kind of stuck back here. Unfortunately, not moving forward. Wicker finds himself right now on the outside of the top 10 looking in, but they do see that 36 ride now jump up in front of them. Gage Wenzel jumps up to the outside lane. I kind of figured we'd see this 36 ride make some big moves. He wants to try to win this race. It was looking bleak there for a while. A timely caution flag saved his bacon and gets himself right into the action here late in this race. But now for Gage, he's blinked a couple times throughout this race, and for the other drivers around him, that could get very, very tough, especially if they're locked onto his back bumper. He starts blinking like that, could cause an issue later in this race as Al Likens, Dylan Picklesheimer, Jeremiah Nelson, all just hooked up together down that inside groove, man. They are not going to leave this inside lane until they see somebody start to get to the outside of that 20 ride. If we see somebody jump to the outside of that 20 of Jeremiah Nelson, even if they get close to his back bumper, he may jump up there, throw the block in, trying to slow that outside lane down, making it less likely that somebody can find a run to be able to try to steal this win away from Al Likens and Dylan Picklesheimer here this evening as they just stay hooked together. And again, here we go. We start to see Al running about half a track higher than the 45 ride through these corners, trying to dump a bunch of good air onto the nose of that 45 ride. Obviously starting to run a little hot again, trying to get that extra cool air into that motor bay, trying to cool that thing down. And here we go, third lane trying to get started. The 4 ride getting a shove. Unfortunately, looks like Cogswell will bail out on him as the outside lane trying to storm back into it, trying to find that extra gear, but they chew up and they spit out Drew King. King slides up to that third lane. Here comes the 4 ride of Mr. Johnson. Johnson will try to get to his back bumper. They'll try to get that third lane rolling. Unfortunately, not enough there for them, and they are just not moving anywhere there in that third lane on the racetrack, and not a whole lot of tankers to go up there right now anyways. It's down across the line. They will complete 2 laps left to go. So 2 more laps left here in this feature event, and it's Al Likens who continues to lead the way. They've had teammates on his back bumper, continuing to push this slightly dangerous number 9 ride to the point and out in front for a while here in this feature event. And they are looking fine, doing it as well as Al Likens, hoping to see the white flag fly. But now, a lot of times in these super speedway races, the car that leads the white flag lap, a lot of times is not the race race winner when we get back to the checkered flag. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if we see a bunch of other drivers start to make some moves to start to slice and dice here on this final lap. As you do see the Tiny Toes team try to jump up that third lane, is down across the line. The white flag will be displayed. So one more time around here for Al Likens. Can they just stay hooked together? Does the 8 ride, the 96, the 95, do they make a move as the Revolution Motorsports team lined up back there behind them, and here they go down the back straightaway. They jump to the outside groove. Here comes Kent Mueller. Mueller takes his Revolution teammates there to the outside lane. Here comes Gage Wenzel, the number 7 of Chase Abel, and the rest of the outside lane. Can they build up enough speed? Can they build up enough momentum to take a big run down the front straightaway and make this a tight fight for the race win? Gage Wenzel jumps down low and out of it as down through the tri-oval for the final time here this evening. No one will get there, as it is Al Likens who picks up the checkered flag here this evening. Al Likens able to continue to get that push from Dylan Picklesheimer and his teammates, push him into victory lane, and they come home with the 1, 2, 3 finish here this evening. So the slightly dangerous racing team comes home in the top 3 spots. They sweep the podium here this evening at Talladega Super Speedway, and the teamwork just pays dividends here today. They just play it right. They have their cards made, and man, oh man, oh man, they were holding pocket aces out there on the racetrack as they are able to win big here at Talladega. And here we go. Picklesheimer going to celebrate with Al Likens. Likens, he knows that he owes that 45 ride a beer here today. At any point in time on that final lap, Dylan could have jumped up to the outside lane, could have left his teammate high and dry, and tried to win the race himself. What? Not selfish out there on the racetrack, knows that this is a team sport, knows the 9 ride potentially has a better chance at winning this championship here than himself. After a couple bad runs, a couple tough breaks for the 45 ride, unfortunately sets a lot of points back, and now they're going to get ready to celebrate here on the front straightaway. Here comes their teammate, the 4 ride, as Mr. Johnson unfortunately came back in the 15th position. Still a pretty solid run for that 4 machine of Darrell Johnson here this evening, as Al Likens, Darrell Johnson, Dylan Picklesheimer, and Jeremiah Nelson all going to get ready to celebrate here this evening. They are pumped up with a 1-2-3 finish here tonight, as we'll get ready to pull out in the rest of our top 3 up here into the booth for their post-race interviews here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for Al Likens, as Likens picks up the checkered flag here in this one. Let's get him up here into the booth. As Sean says, what a race. What a race is right. These guys put on a great show for us, man. Great racing, great action. Only what? 2 caution flags, man. 2 caution flags. No late race yellows or anything else to make this a very, very fun night of action, as we'll get ready to pull Al and Dylan and Jeremiah Nelson up here into the booth for their post-race interviews. Hey, Al, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Take it a copy.
Yeah, go ahead. I got you.
Al, man, what a run, what a race. Take us back through this one. Obviously, coming into this race very close to the points lead, you knew you just needed to have a good run, survive the mayhem, keep yourself out of any caution flags that may have happened here this evening, and you're able to keep this 9 ride clean for so long this evening. And at some points, as we saw that kind of 4-car tandem just working out perfectly, you and Picklesheimer all night long, though, just hooked together. Once Dylan kind of found you out there on the racetrack, he pushes you to the point, he hangs with you here all night long, and he pushes you up and into victory lane here at Talladega Super Speedway, and able to now take over that points lead heading into our final 3 races of the season. Man, what's going through your mind? What's going through your head right now as you get to celebrate here on the front straightaway with your teammates after an amazing run here at Dega?
First things, teammates at Dega, man. I couldn't done this without Dylan and Jeremiah and Darrell and Chris, man. It was an awesome, best executed race we've done as a team for his plate race. It was just absolutely, I just still can't believe it. I mean, it's great to get a win and have teammates to do it with.
Yeah, absolutely. Picking up a win, having teammates to celebrate and work together here all night long. Obviously, we saw Dylan right there with it, but we saw Jeremiah Nelson in that third spot late in the race, sticking with you guys. He could have jumped up, trying to steal the win away, but Dylan and Jeremiah knew that you were the best shot here at potentially winning this championship. Unfortunately for Dylan, he's a lot of points back there right now, and obviously, maybe with so little amount of races left to go, it'd be very, very tough for him to leapfrog so many points and be able to try to still win this championship. But for yourself, you're right there. I do believe came into this race only 2 points back of Dalton Wicker for that points lead. And now after tonight, should have a pretty sizable gap between yourself and Wicker and that number 36 of Gage Wenzel heading into our fourth race of these playoffs, man. How does that feel, knowing that you can potentially, this race could have been the championship make or break here for you tonight?
It feels good, but there's still a long ways to go in the season. And them guys are tough every week in, week out. So just right now taking it race by race and, bouncing setups and tweaks with all the teammates. We're working really good together right now. So to me, I feel like that's made us better as a team. If something's not working on my end, we bounce ideals. And if they got something better, we can use it and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Teamwork makes the dream work, and here tonight, the dream is alive as you guys are able to come home with the podium sweep as you pick up the win here at Dega. Al, who would you like to thank again here this evening for such a great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
First, I'd like to thank God. Then second, I'd like to thank my family for allowing me to do this. And third, I'd like to thank my teammates. And, I alluded to that earlier, but I couldn't do it without him. Then Darrell Johnson, I'd like to thank him what he's done for me. I'd like to thank you all for what you do in the league, for having us. And glad to be part of this league.
Yeah, absolutely, man. A very good league, a lot of great racing action. Not a lot of times we come to Talladega and only see, 2 caution flags out there in a 80-lap race. So that really made things, a lot of green flag runs. We saw green flag pit stops and a lot of fun and strategy being played out here tonight. And it's all about that teamwork as you are able to pick up the checkered flag, take the points lead, and get to celebrate here tonight with the podium sweep for the slightly dangerous racing team here this evening. Al, congratulations, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack and trying to keep that points lead when it comes to our next race Thursday night next week.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Beauty, Al, enjoy the rest of your night, and congratulations again on the checkered flag. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Al Likens. As Likens picks up the checkered flag and pulls that 9 right up and into victory lane here this evening. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, his teammate, the 45 ride, Dylan Picklesheimer. Picklesheimer coming home in second. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Dylan, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth to get a copy.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Dylan, man, what a run, what a race, man. Obviously, teamwork making the dream work here tonight. You knew Al was, sitting pretty here in the points. Knew that if he had a great race here this evening, could come out of it with the points lead. And that's exactly how it plays out, as you just get stuck to his back bumper here for pretty much the entire night. And you just don't leave him. You keep helping him. And we talked about it, man. That car had to be running hot. We see Al kind of running, middle of the groove there through, the corners, trying to dump some clean air onto your nose, trying to get that car cooled down for you as you were just pushing the heck out of that 9 ride and keeping him out in front. And it seemed like it was impossible for anybody to try to find that speed to get back up and around you guys. Even when it was a 4-car tandem, you guys were pulling away from the 15 cars that were back there behind you guys. Even when they got single file, they could not catch you. You guys were a bullet out there on the racetrack here this evening and just pulling this race along.
Yeah, for sure. The goal going in to the night and all week was to push Al to a win, or at least let him lead every lap he could. And if I got a chance to make a move the last corner, I would. So that was the goal all week, because he's got to get max points. He's in the fight for the championship. I mean, I am too, but I was on probation tonight, so I couldn't get any of the bonus points. So my goal was to push Al all night. I can't believe it worked out as easy as it did, honestly. Like, that was probably our best race we've ever done as a team. I kept pushing him, like you said, and he kept giving me the top lane as he could, and it worked out, man. It was great. I loved it, and it even had Jeremiah behind us. So 1, 2, 3 finish for Slightly Dangerous, and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And throughout the night, we saw a couple of your other teammates right there as well, kind of making that a three-car pack at the front, just pushing you guys even farther out in front here this evening. As late in it, we saw obviously Jeremiah, who came home in third here this evening there, but we saw obviously the four ride of Mr. Johnson. He was there. He was helping you guys out. We saw for a while Chris Zofeld was up there until he got tied up in a couple incidences there. But for the most part, man, the teamwork between you guys was just absolutely on point here this evening, and obviously it pays off as you guys come home 1, 2, and 3 here this evening, man. How does that feel knowing that you guys were able to just run such a perfect race as a team, not only just a single car out there on the racetrack?
It feels fantastic, man. We pride ourselves on super speedways. Like the three of us, even Daryl. I mean, Chris is kind of new to us. So I don't really know how good he is there, but the four of us at the team, we've been doing super speedways forever. Even on NASCAR heat days, we even have a super speedway league. So we pride ourselves on super speedways. If we can just stick together, I know we can run good, and we proved that tonight. I wish James was here with us tonight, but seems like he was having some internet issues. He's just as good too. So it was a great showing for Slightly Dangerous, man. I'm looking forward to next week and see what Al can do. I mean, I think I made up some points this week, but I'm kind of far out of it, so I don't know how that'll end up by the end of the year. But just want to finish good and help Al out as much as I can to get that chip, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And now going into these final three races with the points lead for Al Likens, he'll be looking to defend it here next Thursday night. And I'm sure you and the rest of the team are going to be trying to do everything you can to help that 9 ride potentially get back into victory lane or hold that points lead, maybe even extend it here next Thursday. But Dylan, an absolutely amazing run, an amazing race by yourself here tonight, man. Teamwork making the dream work out there on the racetrack, man. Who's like to thank for such a great run and great performance here tonight?
First off, I'd like to thank you as always. It's been a minute since I've been back up here in the booth, but glad to be back up here, and I can't wait to watch this race when I get time this weekend. I want to thank the team, Slightly Dangerous, Daryl, Chris, Jeremiah, Al on the win. That's back to back for him. James, my boy Fred Pennington, got to shout him out. Sam Taylor, my boy, he ain't here, but that's part of the Slightly Dangerous crew too. And I got to shout out my wife, my mom and dad, and my father-in-law. And then, of course, the admins and all the people that make this league great like it is. So I think that's it for me, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely, mister. Well, enjoy the great run here tonight. We look forward to seeing you guys back in action next Thursday, and maybe another opportunity for you, Al, and maybe another teammate of yours to get back up here into the booth next Thursday night, mister. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you back out there on the racetrack.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Dylan Picklesheimer. As Picklesheimer comes home in position number 2 here this evening. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for that number 45 machine. As we'll get ready now to pull in our third place driver, Al and Dylan's teammate. Here is a podium sweep for the Slightly Dangerous Racing team as the 20 rider Jeremiah Nelson comes home in position number 3. Let's get Jeremiah up here into the booth. Hey, Jeremiah, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Jeremiah, man, another great run, another great race here for you as you, Dylan, Al, all the team here this evening just working in unison, working perfectly together here. Not only at the start of the race, the middle of the race, but right there at the end of the race as well. You guys get lined up 1, 2, and 3 down the inside, and it just seemed like no one could get that outside lane enough speed, enough momentum to even make a charge to get back up and get door to door with you guys to put the pressure and maybe try to steal the win away from you guys. These guys are just able to stay glued together, and you come home as a 1, 2, 3 finish with yourself rounding out the podium here this evening, man. Take us through it. What's going through your mind right now after a crazy, crazy race here this evening?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun tonight. That first little incident, I lost the draft and found some guys in the back, and finally got the caution we needed. Come down, put tires on it, started making my way forward, and I don't know what happened with the 11. He just kind of like, I don't know if he couldn't handle the push or what, and it jumbled the field up, and we had a huge lead. somehow, I don't know, but we executed the pit stop, and then the caution come out, and we said, we're gonna work together on this restart, and we executed the restart perfect. And we just worked together. We said we was gonna work together, and we got it done somehow, some way.
Yeah, absolutely. Just staying glued together down the inside. No one could get there to your outside, and it allows you guys to come home with a 1-2-3 run here. But man, take us through, that little bit of a late middle section here this evening. Obviously, after the contact between you and your teammate Chris Sofeld, Sofeld goes down the racetrack. It kind of breaks up the field here as it all of a sudden becomes a 4-car tandem with yourself, Al Likens, Dylan Picklesheimer, and the 7 ride of Chase Abel, and you guys just all of a sudden become one almost, and you just start running incredible lap times. I thought for certain once we saw that second group get single file with 12, 14, 15 cars in that pack, that they would reel you guys back in. But it was the complete opposite. You guys continue to pull farther and farther away from them. You start to pick up a couple extra cars out there on the racetrack as they go all lap down, and all of a sudden you guys have about an 11-second lead, almost 12 seconds after that last set of green flag pit stops. And without that late race caution flag, they were never going to catch you guys, and it would have been down between the 4 of you on the lead lap in that lead group.
Yeah, if it had finished like that, I was just gonna lift. I was gonna give Chase the point, because I'm not even in the playoffs. I was gonna just lift off the 4, give Chase the point, and let them 3 fight it out. But yeah, the last restart was awesome, man. We seen Gage get up there. We said, "Oh God, here we go."
Yeah, he got up there. We saw obviously Ken Mueller and Ludi, a bunch of these guys. Obviously, we saw the Revolution team there. They were right behind you guys, and we were watching there on the broadcast. I thought they were going to be the ones that make that run as they jumped to the outside lane right in front of Gage Wenzel, and with Mueller, Bounton, Aaron Spear, the 95 of Ludi all going up there. I thought for certain they were going to get a run down the back straightaway and through the last couple corners to give a shot to try to win this race. And it just seemed to, again, that second lane just had no momentum, no drive in it. They jumped up there and they couldn't find anything, and they actually end up losing a couple spots as Grubbs jumps up in front of them.
Yeah, when we seen Gage jump up, we said, "Yeah, that's gonna be the man to lead the top." And the kid knows what he's doing. He's a real good driver, and he knows what he's doing. But we stayed true to what we talked about, and we worked together on the pushes and timing them right. And the heating in this car now with the new update is just crazy. You push for half a lap, you're about to blow up. So we had to time the pushes right, and we just executed. And I don't know what happened to Gage. What killed that top line?
Just absolutely no drive up there, man. It was crazy. It just seemed like every time a few cars would jump up there, a couple more cars would go with them, and they had 5-6 cars there, and it just seemed like every time they would just stall out and go nowhere. Even that final run when we saw 3-4 more cars jump up to the outside lane, they had nothing for you guys, man. They could just not get that speed that they needed to try to gain a couple positions or even try to stay even with you guys. They actually fell back throughout that final lap or so.
Yeah, well, man, it's like if you get the right 3 on the bottom, you can pull everybody around. And if you got the right 2 leading the top, you can make some hay up there. But I just want to thank you and my teammates and it was a good clean race night for the most part. Last week was good and clean. Yeah, I thought Ludi and the boys was gonna get it going to the top, and I don't know. I seen Gage coming, and then I don't know what happened to him, and then I felt like we was good after that. But just want to appreciate you and Ludi and the boys for the league, and yeah.
Beauty. Well, Jeremiah, heck of a run, heck of a drive here tonight, mister. Congrats on the 3rd place finish, and we can't wait to see you, the rest of the Slightly Dangerous Racing team, back out there on the racetrack next Thursday and see if you guys can recreate the magic here tonight. Maybe come home with another 1-2-3 finish there at Texas.
Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely.
Have a good night.
Yes, you as well, brother. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Jeremiah Nelson, as Jeremiah comes home in position number 3, man. What a run, what a drive there for that number 20 machine. Unfortunately, that will do it for us here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We cannot thank you guys enough for tuning in and showing the love here this evening as the Hypershift Racing League, powered by Juicy Spider Studios, and obviously our playoffs powered by NobleAmerican.com. We can't thank them and the rest of our amazing partners here with the Hypershift Racing League enough, as it makes a small community really so strong here and so big in the racing action here at the Hypershift Racing League. Continue to get better and better and better, man. And if you guys want to become part of this series, make sure you guys get a hold of me, get a hold of Anthony Ludi, or find us over on Facebook at the Hypershift Racing League over there on FB. Get in on the action, get in on the fun here. Our next season obviously is a couple months away when it goes back into February next year, but you know, a lot of races, a lot of opportunities, and a lot of great action here. And you guys don't want to miss out on the 2026 season. Whether or not you're a racer or a sponsor that wants to jump on board, man, make sure you guys get in on the forefront right now. Make sure you guys get things lined up and become part of the series here next year. But listen, to everybody that's a part of it, we can't thank you guys enough. To everyone that tuned in and showed the love here with the likes, the comments, the shares, any of the new followers, any of the new subscribers, we can't thank you guys enough for becoming a part of the Peacemaker family here this evening. And we'll see you guys right back up here in the broadcast booth next Thursday here with the Hypershift Racing League. We'll also see you back up in the booth tomorrow night as we will be back up here putting on another great show. Some more great racing tomorrow evening as well. But listen, can't thank you all enough for tuning in, and we'll see you all in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Rubber burning engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafting on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, a tempo, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take.